All right, let's dive into it because the winner of this is going to be going up against Benny Boy Dumu from Team Liquid. Is it going to be Kaiser Johan or Gully Deckle? Welcome back to Midweek Muster number 9. We've got an interesting showdown here. So yeah, the winner of this will be going up as Dumu. This was a round of 32 game that I just had to see because these two, I'd say, are tightly matched on skill. I think this must have been one of our tighter seedings. So Kaiser Johan, definitely no stranger to the channel. We've featured him a lot. Gully Deckle a few times. He's a rising, aspiring pro player. He's a kid from Austria looking to make it big. Malians versus Chinese as an opener is going to make it rough for him, though. I think China usually does quite well in this matchup. Rocky River to begin with, as it will always be throughout Midweek Muster number 9. Glad to see these two actually clashing. You know, the round of 32 is looking a little bit empty, reminding the people that you should definitely be signing up time and time again for Midweek Musters. We do have only 32 slots, but the reality is, as we saw this week, sign up because you never know when someone's not going to play, right? Like, there was actually room. If you just signed up, like, if you were watching right now, Steve Viewer, you could have just signed up and gotten a chance to try and throttle one of your favorite players. If Kaiser is KJ, then who is Kiljadi? Kiljadi is Dead Copy. That's his other account's name, I think. What's considered low elo? Diamond? No. So here's the thing. Like, we were having this discussion about low elo legends, and when I do it again, it's going to be a while still. I don't think we're there again yet. I don't know. I don't think it was that popular to begin with. Like, also, I need someone on the YouTube side that does it. Oh my dear God, that's a lot of sheep. I need someone on YouTube that does YouTube well to even justify trying low elo again. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. But for me, for low elo to be successful, it's golden below. People find the appeal of, like, seeing how a bronze plays. Seeing how a diamond plays is just kind of like, eh. You might as well just watch one of your viewers' replays and advise them like a coach. That's insane, though. 23 sheep to 14. Kaiser Johan, the sheep whisperer here. I mean, do you guys even have sheep in Sweden? Actually, like, do you? Now, like, at first that was just a joke, but is the sheep industry actually big in Sweden? I guess maybe on, like, the South Peak? Because I'm just wondering if KJ knows what a sheep looks like, you know? Imagine if you're a player from a country that doesn't actually have any sort of sheep industry in it. Surely Age of Empires 4 must be really confusing to you. You know, like, where are all the yaks? Anyway, we have pro scouts on the way from both sides. This is pretty much the bread and butter meta. Usually with the Malians, the way you do this is that you prep the scouts first, then go pro scout second, because you want to block your opponent's play. It is important that you know where your opponent's playing, and Gully does not. That's a big problem. He doesn't know about these deer. And Kaiser Johan is heading directly for those. Are there a lot of camels in England? No, but there's a lot of, like, media that covers them. I'd say camels frequently appear more in, like, popular historical media than sheep, you know? Like, I don't remember the last time I saw an army riding sheep into battle, you know? Like, just putting it out there. That would be hilarious, by the way. If we could just add, like, a variant of English and it was Welsh. Don't do that. That is the quickest way to annoy the Welsh population, by the way. So yeah, both of them are bringing back the deer. It looks like Gully's gone a little bit more central. Surprised he didn't try to harass. I guess you could argue this is too close to KJ's base anyway to do any significant damage, but it does mean that China is getting the ample food they need. Spinman already being produced on both sides. So how is this one going to play out? Usually you're going to see, as long as they get enough sheep, enough deer, Malians can go for a Farimba play. I don't know if he's going to get enough, though. The problem you have on this map that actually makes Spinman pretty good against Pro Scouts is the predictability of the next deer stacks. Now, in fairness to him, and credit to him, Gully Deckle didn't actually take the safe deer first, so he'll still have that fallback option, but it does mean that KJ should be able to block some of these central plays. You're starting to hate the Pro Scouts play? Okay, I'm just going to put it even simpler. Pro Scout sucks! This is actually quickly developing into one of the worst metas we've had. Season 9 started off with, like, a very refreshing meta, a really, really good time, and I was happy. But the more that I am watching this develop, the more I'm hating it. It is boring. Pro Scouts is not a fun meta. It's a very uninteractive meta because your interaction is Pro Scouts as well. Because the alternative is, if you like try to block a Pro Scouts play, which sounds like something you should be able to do, you're actually always too slow. Your opponent just gets too much out of it. Wasn't I all in on Pro Scouts? I said that I'd like to see Pro Scouts be relevant again. I didn't want it to be everywhere. There's a big difference. Pro Scouts is good, makes more strategic fighting of the map, but it doesn't. The fighting... Okay, okay. Let's go through this as a chat. We've got time, because it's not like we're missing anything important. There's literally just spears stabbing each other in the face. If I go Pro Scouts, what do you do? In general, right? Like, don't even need a specific matchup, because we're going to keep this high level so everyone can participate. I'm going to go Pro Scouts. I'll give you, like, my sim. I'm going to be China. I'm going to go Pro Scouts. What do you do? Do you 2TC? No, because that does not work. Do you fast castle? Well, no, because I'm going to have a lot more food safely, so I'll fast castle too. Do you all-in me? You could try, but I've gone Pro Scout, so I'm going to have loads of safe food. And okay, I'll block all the deer. Okay, yeah, but how do you block all the deer across the map at 5 minutes in the game? Okay, KP, what options have you left me here? I don't know. Have you ever considered going Pro Scouts? Deal! So that's your meta. That is up there with ITC, UTC, OTC. Do you remember how boring it was when someone would be like, oh, he's gone free TC, so now his opponent's going to go free TC. Oh, it looks like he's not going 4 TC, so I guess the other guy's going to have to go 4 TC. That's what you have with the Scouts now. So, Clash coming in. KJ is actually doing a really good job here. He's got Barbican on the way. He's winning this fight. For unknown reasons, Gully Deco has decided to go into Javelins, despite the fact it's already mass speared him. I mean, in fairness against the Archer, is going to make a lot of sense here. I think KJ could just go fast castle off of this, though. But like, this is fundamentally the issue with Pro Scouts. Is like, realistically, it either turns into a long feudal where it comes down to who got more deer, or it turns into a fast castle where it comes down to who got most of the deer, usually. It's not to say you can't outplay someone with FC and FC. But what matters with Pro Scouts is, like, it pretty much removes the relevance of the early game and puts it down to a number of simplification of, like, I got more deer. Oh, he got yoinked. Okay, that was brilliant from Gully. He actually snatched it away. So Kaiser Johan shot the deer, and then Gully perfectly ran in to take it away. That was fantastic. Yeah, the fundamental issue you have here is what they've turned deer into with Pro Scouts is literally just an extension of the sheep conundrum. And the sheep conundrum is a really big problem in AoE4. The sheep conundrum is, if I get 80% of the sheep, you can't play the game. And that is true for a majority of civs, bar the berry gathering ones, right? Like, we've literally seen pro games, even last year, where they're pretty much decided at 5 minutes because someone got no sheep. This is an overextension by Gully, by the way. He shouldn't be playing this far forward. I think he's paranoid about castle aids, as he should against China, but, like, you just need to focus on your own play. It looks like he was prepping Fulani. I don't know if you really want to be going Fulani here, man. You played Pro Scouts. Farimba makes a lot more sense for Pro Scouts. If he went for the Mansa Musafadi, he'd have a comeback point, but this is looking pretty bad. You're going to see more strats that will beat Pro Scouts in EGC. I'm not convinced. Thinking about the map pool as well, I'm really not convinced. Like, do we need to turn this into a topical debate about, like, EGC's map pool? Oh no, you guys are coming back again. So, like, in terms of Pro Scouts viability, EGC Masters Winters is going to have Bald Land, which is a Pro Scouts map. Cliffside, which you could Pro Scouts on. Dry Arabia, which everyone Pro Scouts on. Gorge, which, I mean, you could Pro Scouts on. Himiyama, which people already start Pro Scouting on. Kalauga, I'm not so sure, but you could. Gorge, we already said, yeah. Hillendale, nah, you're not going to really Pro Scouts that one, at least. King of the Hill, everyone Pro Scouts. Lakeside, Pro Scouts. I guess you can't on Moving Out. There you go, guys. That's why we picked Moving Out. What if Scouts dropped the deer when hit? That's an interesting mechanic, actually. I kind of like that idea. But, like, the way I like that is that, yeah, that would actually be cool, is if you got hit while carrying deer, you drop it, but your scout doesn't stop moving. You don't really know that he's dropped it, right? If that makes sense. That would be kind of cool. But I think the more obvious thing is you just nerf movement speed on scouts when carrying gear. Because then you can actually punish the play instead of having to mirror it. Like, the whole point about why pro scouts, and I hope this doesn't feel like I've been beaten like this like a dead horse, because like we've seen some raids, we haven't seen an emphatic moment in this game. The reason why it's so important to beat this dead horse or this dead deer is that good RTS design offers up counters to plays. Alternate plays to counter plays, right? So like, for example, your perfect triangle is almost like Pro Scouts beats 2TC, All In beats Pro Scouts, 2TC beats All In. As an example, I'm not saying that's the way the order should be, but like you want this triangle, right? You basically want a triangle to your designs, bare minimum, the same way that you have a triangle design to unit counters in AoE 4 at its core, right? Horsemen beat archers, archers beat spears, spears beat horsemen. Right now, the current economical dynamics at play, or like, should we say strategies at play, is like if you have, let's say the three choices are TC, Pro Scouts, Fast Castle. Like, that balance triangle is broken because both of those options are better enabled by like, or let's say all in. So these are 2TC, Fast Castle, all in, Pro Scouts. Instead of you having a dynamic where one counters a different one in that like in that diamond you've created, you've got two of them at least that are embodied by Pro Scouts. It's like what you've just find there isn't that Pro Scouts is part of a counter diamond, triangle, pentagon, or whatever else. It's that Pro Scouts is the prerequisite to others. And also, with it being a prerequisite, it also is a padding against other strategies like All-In's countering Fast Castle. Because you can't All-In a primary TC quick enough to punish Pro Scouts. It's very, very difficult. So yeah, Pro Scouts needs a nerf. And I'm hoping we're going to get one soon. Because that's when diversification of gameplay will come in again. Ram's moving in here from KJ. You do have a mirrored tech up out of Gully. He did go Fulani, and I'm not crazy about this. Kaiser Johan just has such a big army. This is absurd. Archer spear count. Like, it's not quality yet, but Palace Guard are in the way. This is looking really dominant from China. You like my idea where you have to get the survival techniques before you get Pro Scouts? Yeah, like, I think that's part of it, but that's not the full solution. Because then you just enable China's usually more due to their tech speeds. But like, yeah, I like the idea, like, if you take damage with the Scout, you drop the deer, and you have a cooldown. That's a really cool dynamic. And it means that if an opponent, like, tries to block your Pro Scouts play, they can actually block it. Which is something that just isn't feasible right now with 90% of the civs. Or 90% of the maps. Warrior Scout's just trying to delay the arrival of the PG. He's buying time for the veterancy upgrades to come in from Gully, and we do have a switch on the way into Musafadi. Still, you're building Musafadi into mass archers. Veterancy's in on both sides. Clash is coming through. Horseman is trying to break in here, but Gully, he only has 7 Gontos. I mean, the only upside right now is that KJ didn't vet the Horseman, which would have been worth doing here, which he could have also afforded, by the way, with Pro Scouts. It's because he just wants the Palace Guard flooding. This is a hard fight for Gully. I think this is a win for KJ. Behind this, Kazuyohan has not started to pick up relics, mind you. So he doesn't have any big amplification coming, but he's getting it over time. It's gradual. Song Dynasty has been increasing his villager production. Now, Gully, by response, does have almost a full cattle ranch area. So I don't think that he's going to die from this attack. But the next follow-up play for Kazuyohan is to keep flooding Palace Guard and just set up the temples. Go for the relics now, because the relics, in conjunction with the song, will make you better than the Fulani. These Rams are so worth it from Kazuyohan as well. It's just decimating the base. Pit mine, the housing, Gully's losing production as well. And also, because the way that fight played out, Gully only has archers left, which is just terrible against Rams. So even more infrastructure likely to go down here. Good damage done. The follow-up play is still not there, right? No. I'm a little bit disappointed by that. Kazuyohan Yeah, to set up the temple, I think he just kind of skipped a really crucial step here. Another thing to keep in mind is, like, if you don't have another follow-up, there's a bigger advantage economically. You're falling behind, because the reality check now is you have to add in farms. Your opponent has Fulani, right? He's not as stressed to do so after you pro-scout divided the map. Nice find here by KJ. Problematic as well, because Gully, like, yeah, 3 villagers won't win that fight. Realizes it a little bit too late there, so he does lose 1. Has the other time walking back. Kazuyohan somehow even got the Rams out in the end. Alright, 1s if you think Gully's going to win this, 2s if you think Kazuyohan's taking it. Wait, are we huffing hopium that, like, X or Y player has the solution to pro scouts? I mean, the other thing I'd say is, you know, you can argue about whether there's a solution to pro scouts as one angle. The other angle I'd take is just like the question we had to ask when we were in the TC bloat meta. Is it fun to play against? And I don't think pro scouts is fun to play against. Because similar to the TC meta, like, you have to do it as well. Like, don't get me wrong, in a counter-based RTS, you should have to react to your opponent's play in a way. You should also feel like you have your own plays to make, right? It's kind of reminiscent. Another example a while back that I think you can make, like, nice comparisons to is the old Mongol Silver Tree build, where you had to react to trade. Was that meta fun? Where you had to react and kill the trade? Answer's no. Right? I think the only person who's going to say yes in the chat is Phyllis Bodo, who is playing Mongols all the time at that point, right? Like, if you're a Mongol main, you love that meta. If you're any other main, you hated that meta. Good value found there, by the way. PG taking out a sofa is not something that should happen very often. You do have a little bit of split and divide here. Gully just having to play on the flanks of the map. Kazuyohan, even without Yuan Dynasty, is buying a lot of time, forcing Gully to react on flanks. KJ finally now going into that monastery, but I feel like this should have been happening 2+ minutes ago. Is it too drastic to leave pro scouts to some civs? That actually amplifies the problem. Because if the optimal play is pro scouts and only certain civs can do it, then you are playing suboptimally, inherently, right? You need to nerf it before you can even think about something like that. Like, if you make it so that only Malians and Roos can do pro scouts, 2 civs that, like, can already dominate with that, oof. That was only 1 civ though, not all of them, the Mongol meta? I mean, sure, but in, like, a way... So that logic that was only the Mongols doing that. It was, like, when you had a trade meta, if you couldn't stop the Mongols, you had to trade as well, right? Like there's a comparison. And we kind of have this situation where certain civs just do pro scouts substantially better than others. But we'll pause that for, we've got a big dive coming in. Kazuyohan, huge numerical advantage here. Only a few crossbows in the mix. Sofas are doing their best to try and carry the fight. We do have the imported armors in. Kazuyohan not exactly on point with his targeting here. A lot of the archers aren't attacking that back line. Gully should survive this, but it's still going to be beat down to nothing. And behind this, we do have monks gathering relics. Funnily enough, Gully was able to find his way into relics too. Yeah, this was not ideal by KJ. His micro leaves a lot of question marks here. You had a few crossbows that should have been targeting the sofas. They're killing archers. You had plenty of archers that should have been killing archers that were attacking the sofas. You want to know why that's such a big deal? You do 9 damage into 7 armor. Barely tickles. It would take you almost 100 shots to kill a sofa. Now, because he's still flank raiding with what little he has left, he's in a good position. Like, this is still trending towards a Kazuyohan win. It's just probably not the cleanest gameplay I've seen out of him. I think it's gotten a little bit sloppy. What is that farm location? That's insane. We just have, like, mass granaries out in the open, away from the main base. This is how confident he is. So KJ is just taking very much a throw crap at him angle, right? Just keep blobbing and sending and blobbing and sending. He's ironically playing the Malian strategy, right? Just overwhelm on numbers and flood. Is it better to make the TC shoot palace guards or archers? In that situation, probably just doesn't matter either. PG probably, but it doesn't matter either way, right? Like, the bigger issue is that Kazuyohan's not leveraging his comp correctly in that dive. So he's just never going to get a good trade out of it. Like, even if he wipes the army, he had double the army, right? Like, it doesn't feel good. We do have relics on the way home. Kazuyohan, if he wants to keep playing the strategy this way, the most important thing is actually Yuan now. For multiple reasons. It's going to give the Palace Guard the flank raiding, which they are disgusting for. The other interesting part is it's actually going to allow him to get the pagodas, which with just 3 relics alone, you reach maximum value. Instead, this is going to be 4 relics. Nice grab there. Gully tried to be cheeky about it, but Kazuyohan does find him. There are more troops on the way. Kazuyohan, I think he's getting a little bit defensive due to the Sofering. Right, there's quite a lot of them flooding now, and the issue is, there you go, no walls from KJ, so trying to fix that now. I feel like it could have been an even better fight if he's... Oh, wait, we already talked about that, didn't we? Yeah, sorry. Malian would lose Warrior Scouts? Well, they have Sofa, right? Like, the whole idea is you want to blob Sofa here. Warrior Scouts don't really make much sense in the Palace Guard. Sofa get bonus damage even against the unit that counters them, which is the Spear, right? So that's why KJ is now going mass crossbows. Problem is, your opponent already has archers. What I like here from KJ is once these walls are up, Nesta Bees win. Because you got to keep in mind that most of the Malian army is going to be made up of trash units. That's the logic anyway. You use Donzos, Musafadi, archers, they're all low HPers. Walls coming up for both players. Gully going for the ambitious ones at the center here. Oh, you can only make scouts from TC into a castle? What, for Malians? No, that's wild. For a start, it will give you absolutely no counter against siege if you're an age behind. That's the whole point of having horsemen like at that stage. Like, they can also be a counter to siege. Nice little raid here from the Sofa. Definite damage that's needed. Well, low. Not going to go off in time there. Q idea around the walls. I've got revenge coming. KJ about to get backstabbed here by Gully's army. I mean, Kazuyohan, like, what has he done with his win condition here? He threw away an army diving, only to return to a point where he needs to blob army again so that he doesn't get dove. If he was walling behind this when he was attacking, I at least understand it, but it just kind of feels like there's points in KJ's build that came a lot later than were necessary. We already talked about the monks, and now we have to really emphasize the walls. Gully's starting to take control of this game. Yeah, I mean, the army size, right? Like, the eco size, rather. Definitely great for China, but that just means Gully can get a bigger military force. What KJ needs is a lot of walls, so these Nesta Bees can actually be worth their weight. Yeah, Gully respects the Nesta Bees play. The next move from him should be to just play wide on the map and then go for attack. Because you can spread KJ really thin with Mass Musafadi Sofa. Key drop coming in, actually a pretty big deal. Because if I'm not mistaken, what gold does he have? He's got 4k here. This one's pretty much close to the keep. So you're basically stripping Kazuyohan of a lot of long-term gold. He does still, however, have 6k to work with, as well as those 3 relics. So we had a lot of 2s for who's going to win before, right? Who wants to refund their 2s? It's starting to look better for Gully. Villagers get caught again. I mean, there's just a lack of walling, really. 6 Nesta Bees now. But the problem is your base is so disconnected from your farm area that using these Nesta Bees to defend is hard. I almost feel like Kazuyohan felt like he had enough time to go for a Great Wall Gatehouse out here without realizing the window of opportunity for Malians after that dive. Nesta Bees gonna try to address the Archer Mass, but Gully with a very weird dive here. And Kazuyohan, he actually thought he was being dove on the Nesta Bees. They were just running by. What? Oh no, this is over. This is so done. KJ with the greedy open farmlands has found himself quite punished. The loss on this farm area is entirety. I think only, what, about 7 villagers got away from this. And Kazuyoha now behind by 5 eco units. Nesta bees are still alive, sure, but Gully Decker was ignoring them. They're only a threat if you play into them. Kazuyoha, now he was getting ready for an attack. I can't believe this. He's running home at the worst possible time. That was the moment where you need to counterattack. You can't just leave. Unbelievable. Tried to rip a poker face and got read through in the end. All of a sudden, Gully in a position where he can very easily go to Imperial Age. He's about to pop out at 200. Lesson here for KJ. Genuinely is the walling. Tricky to do, but I kind of wonder if it actually would have been better value to just set the granaries up in the corner here, wall it across, instead of playing wide to the west. But what you got to realize about KJ's spawn, the reason why he went south side is the gold. He was trying to turn this into a 1-2 step. Farms into eventual gold veins. But ultimately, without those walls first, it's just far too greedy. Gully, this is now his game to lose. And now Hornet set, he might end up losing. Nesta B's getting in with some good shots here. Attacking the wrong location, but the follow-up's looking good. Gully, why are we even taking this fight right now? A completely unnecessary engagement. Gully, who's done such a good job of spreading the map, for some reason, thought he was ready to step up to the main boxing ring. Oh my god. Before he's playing a game of hide and seek, and all of a sudden he decided he wanted to square up to Mike Tyson in the ring. I don't know what he was thinking with this. They're 8 Nesta Bees. Giving an opening now for KJ to recover. One that he desperately needs, being 20 villages behind. I mean, you need to basically stealth and wrap around the back. Because I am seeing a big flaw in Kazuyohan's strategy here. He doesn't have a scout. Gully is a mile and a half ahead on economy though. Nesta Bees, again, good trades again. That Archer line, not really able to dodge the problem. However, the Moose party are starting to shuffle in. That's now 3 Nesta Bees down. Kazuyohan needs more damage than this. That stop off to build the Rams may have cost him dearly here. I mean, he's still got a quality army, right? 35 crossbows is incredibly threatening. He needs to keep pushing. Rams being built up. Nesta Bees continue to shove this back. Gully continue to just A-click his way towards a loss here in game number 1. Oh, come on. Who said Golden League games aren't entertaining? Guys. The irony of you saying that, even though you as a gold, it would take you probably double this time to reach this point in the game. Wait, what? Gully, come on, no. Okay, this is... How is this now China winning? After what just happened in those farms, there should not be a world that exists where China wins. And ironically now, Kazuyohan showing Gully how to do a keep drop. Castle up. Nesta Bees continue to push in. Gully, I mean, I feel like you actually just need scouts here. I don't know why we've got Sofa Musafadi instead of mass warrior scouts into what is basically an army of ranged. Oh no. This is a win. You can feel it, you can sense it. Kazuyohan starting to reach towards the main. If you can just shuffle past that TC, all those ranches are going to be forfeit. Unbelievable game 1. I told you these two are closely matched. I mean, this game was both of theirs for the taking. Yeah, I'm baffled that Gully's still building Sofa. At this stage, it makes no sense to mass crossbows. Remember that Warrior Scouts only cost 90. Very rapid unit as well. And sure, there's Palace Guard, right? But if you build Musafadi plus Sofa, you have more than enough resources. Musafadi plus Warrior Scout, rather. You have plenty of resources. Gully, now in desperation, because he wants more Sofas, is moving out into the gold. I just think this is losing him the game. We now have javelins. What? Had javelins. Had. Really big emphasis on the had. Just like Gully had this game ripe for the taking. And now he's going to get took and shook. Game number 1 is going to be a win for Johan. Insane game to begin this series. Means we're going to have a promising set. Stay tuned, because in a second, we're into the second, and I don't know how this series is going to end at all. Not after what I just saw. Wait, was this one of those Ram Rushy boys? I'm trying to remember. Was Gully part of the MSN Dragavan Alliance? Does he believe that this Civ should be played that way as well? We'll find out. Game number 2. Abbasid for Gully. KJ on the roost. We've got that double hunting cabin opening. Now, this is an interesting matchup, actually. I don't think it's one that Abbasid have felt great about for a while now. With the Pro Scouts builds, like, it pretty much culls the option to go 2TC. So the question is Gully going to try something creative like a Culture Wing Fast Castle or Military Wing All-In? Or are we just going to see so many TCs that you don't care about Pro Scouts? I feel like if you go free TC here, it at least justifies eco. But you're going to give a really big window for Kazuyohan to win the game. And what we just saw in game number 1 is when Kazuyohan is given an opening, he may not take it the first opportunity, he'll take it the second, definitely. So, you know, with that in mind from Gully, oh god, he's going eco wing. Alright, so I will say this. If this is 2TC, you have wasted. If it's 3/4 TC, there's some potential. I'm already seeing a really good location for a second TC. If he can get a town center up here before the deer are taken, this is a really good positioning for Gully to leverage. The other deer should just be forfeit, though, because I'm 100% expecting Pro Scouts. Welcome to the meta. Do I need to do another, like, beginning of the series talk about Pro Scouts being broken? Nah, I think you guys get it. You've been doing a lot of 1TC push at the moment. I mean, I think in the Pro Scouts meta, you're really crippled on options. We were just talking game number 1 about that triangle logic, right? But, like, the thing is, I wholly believe that Pro Scouts just counters 2TC play. There's maybe 1 or 2 Civs that can get away with it. And like I said, you know, Abbasid can be one of them, but I don't even know if Eco Wing is necessarily justified over, say, Culture into Millie Wing. Right? Because then if you go, I still believe if you go Culture Millie Wing, you go 2TC Fast Castle. There are some Civs that will punish you for it, like Zhuji. We talked actually, I think, the other day. Gully might have been part of that discussion actually about how Zhuji versus Abbasid is one of Abbasid's hardest matchups, right? Because you get Pro Scout, and then your opponent can just Fast Castle or All-In you. If you go 2TC, 3TC, you get All-In. But, like, this matchup's a bit different. Roost don't have the same All-In timing that Zhuji do. They're not as threatening in Feudal Age. So if you go Culture, which with Pot gives you a cheaper Castle Age, into Military Wing, that also then gives you Camels to deal with the initial Horse Archers. But Gully, he's gone for the bread and butter of it, right? Eco Wing every bloody day of the week with this Civ. And the good news is, like I said, you will at least get a very good second TC. Pro Scouts hasn't been queued up yet by Kazuyohan. That means that Gully should be really running out for this location. It just secures so much, right? It protects us the second berries. It gets the deer. What are the other options? He could go for a TC on the tree line. It just doesn't really secure anything your opponent wants. And Pro Scouts is now on the way. Wait, is Gully talking about whether, like, class or AoE 4 is more important? AoE 4 is more... No, I'm kidding. Okay, so Gully, he's already sniping the deer. He's getting ready to position the TC. I don't like that he's shoved it away from the berries, though. What would have been nicer is if he'd shoved the deer down here, and then you drop the TC, berries, tree line, deer, right? And it's close enough that your opponent can't really dive you at all. But it looks like he's at least creating a square. So this should be tight enough. The other nice thing is that if you look at the location, it hasn't spawned anywhere near a stealth forest. Like, this would have been catastrophic, because then if your TC had been dropped here, your opponent could just smuggle, pick up the deer, and come out because, remember, town centers can't see it. He's going for a TC, though. Ooh. Can you guys spot the problem here? You're going to lose the deer. 100% you lose the deer here. I'm not crazy about this. Because the thing is, like, if you have 8 villagers and you garrison them, they're tight enough to immediately garrison, right? The arrow shots are going to be substantial. It's going to be, I think, 6 damage per round of shots. So, like, you should be able to 2-hit scouts. It's very hard to dive. But Gully, now with this play, I mean, he's probably going to end up having to add in farms quite quickly. What was his sheep count in the end? He has got 14. Okay, so decent amount of sheep there, 14 versus 9. But now, with all these deer being snatched away, this should just be raw fast cast. So why are you not fast castling? Johan? Huh? If he plays TC on deer, he steals at least 3 deer. Okay, I've got an alternative option for you, Gully. With all that time, could you not have just shoved the deer in? Because you came and sniped these deer really late. I think it's worth trying to shove the deer in, because if you're going to get it anyway, it might as well be you attempt to stop him getting it by getting it towards your base where you could TC drop, right? I'm just a bit shocked that Johan's playing Age 2. What's he afraid of here? I mean, yes, camels can eventually be annoying for horse archers, but you just get such a great window. Blobbing horse archers against free TC feels really, really good. Wolves are coming up, so Gully is going to be able to insulate himself, and this should just be a hunker down and fast castle now for him. So, Kazuhan's play would have made sense if Gully took that TC drop point we talked about, right? Like, here, you get attacked. Like I said, the timing for Roos is nowhere near as good as Yuji. You can actually protect yourself by just being 2 TC as Abba, but 3 TC would have been problematic, right? Which is why I think Gully chose to build the TCs like this and this, all behind the primary. I think this 100% favors him now, because Johan now is going for a push that doesn't have a clear entry point. Whereas, like, going for fast castle, you get horse archers who surround the base. You then also vacuum relics, so you don't care about free TC as much. And although Eco Wing allows you to get farms cheaply, you don't really want to have to go farms, right? Gully wants to be able to reach extra resources here. It's kind of odd. You can yoink deer from underneath the secondary TC. Oh, sure. Like, I'm not saying you can't try for it, right? But the point is, like, out in the open here, if you get a TC here, you see the scouts coming every day of the week, right? In fact, if you got a shove here with a deer and you TC drop, you could even wall, right? Just wall here and here. So I think there is, like, some viable plays. But as I said, I'm not a crazy fan of Eco Wing against Roos potential fast castle anyway. I think you know, the way that will be settled upon for this matchup is probably going to be culture into melee. Okay, so Archer Knight count is blobbing up. We have forced production out of Gully. It's going to be Horseman Spears to defend. Over archers? What's the thought process here, Gully? There's one nice thing actually about watching replays over live. You get to dissect the players' thoughts with them. Do you not rate archers much better here? Because that gives you a great transitional point towards castle as well, right? Like, it blocks horse archers, gets you composites. What, you mean horseman spear are good against knight archer? Instead of archer spears when you're defending your base. Because, like, the thing is, I guess this makes sense if you want to come out, but if you're staying in your base, this doesn't make much sense, right? Like, this comp can't engage as easily as this. And archers, you have worse army comp. What, archer spear? Because that baits Kazuyohan to over dive, right? Interesting. Yo, what's up? Hi, Mineta. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate the sub. Curious about that one, because I feel like KJ is very reluctant here. He has got siege engineering coming. He's getting all the deer he needs. And he's now going 1-1-1. Okay, so Gully should now be like double archer ranging, right? Instead, he's sticking a Horseman Spear. The other problem with this build is it's just so insanely expensive with food. Right, military wing? Well, I think now that it's going longer feudal, right? Like, archers make sense to layer the cake. Because you will eventually get castle as you inflate eco. And when you do, that's where composite bows is going to feel like the best. You didn't scout? I mean, I'm certain you didn't scout. You literally don't have a scout. In fact, can I just... Is it appropriate to beat you over the head with a stick? You have double stables and you have 0 horsemen. 0 scouts, rather. That's a sin. So, like, this is a situation where actually Gully should be able to see more of the map. Knight's being a bit weird for here from Kaiser. He's 100% the clock. Like, these type of builds always feel really weird for Roos. It's like, if you're going to pro scouts to all in anyway, would it not have been better to just play out onto the deer in the first place? Kind of like what French used to do. You could argue you're against horsemen, and that's why you didn't do it. To see if he's able to break. I'm just not entirely convinced by this line from Kaiser Johann. So, like, little tip to people, when you have full map control like this, play the map, right? And if you think about it, Pro Scouts is kind of the opposite of playing the map. Like, you're getting stuff from the map, you can get it so freely, like, you don't need to be present the way that he is here. So you're looking for extra steps, and I think that still is the castle age. It looks like Kaiser Johann is starting to stockpile resources now. This is already a heavy investment, though. Moves in onto the secondary TC. Horsemen come in. That's going to be able to clean up the Rams quickly here. Okay, so this might be the thought process from Gully. It's like the archers would win in the firefight, but the horsemen allow him to just decimate the Rams. A-click fight coming in. The spearmen, not really ideal, though. They're shuffling around. So definitely not the cleanest there. Gully, what he wants to do is run the horsemen past to surround and stop a retreat, and then the spearmen are able to block the knights. That was an ugly defense from Gully. Has to shuffle away. Has at least delayed Johann. Johann doesn't want to go in with just one ram. But had Gully just bypassed with the horsemen, the spears would have done double the damage to the knights they'd done in that engagement. Another thing that I think was missing here is, yep, no phalanx. That also would have resolved the problem for Gully, is he could have at least fought like that if he had phalanx, because then his spears stab over the horsemen. Definitely not an ideal fight. Johann, now inspired, goes for another push. 2 more rams added in. 3 rams has kind of collectively been decided as the golden number to break a secondary TC. 2 is way too slow. Should have attacked through the woodlines instead. Agreed. Because, like, yeah, you're only maybe stopping a few farms here, right? So I like that Johann's seeing that in retrospect, right? Because now we do have the archers as well, which even amplifies the validity of going into the woodline more. Like, your opponent needs wood to add the farms, he needs wood to add archers. So second TC goes down, but I mean, Gully being at 2 TC with almost a 40 villager lead is not a loss. My god, look at him go. Yeah, you're right. You went all the way down here. That type of wall should never have been allowed in this type of game. Especially with how slow walls are these days. And now, Johann needs to be careful because he's actually out of position here. He's wrapped all the way around the back. This means that reproduction isn't on his side, because now to get in, it's kind of like when you watch Lombos attack the backside of a base, it never works. Because the route to get all the way around is so vulnerable. Gully now starting to stab. There's still no phalanx. A lot of production about to start going down here. And this is usually why archers feel better to have to defend here, right? It's like, you in these choke points, we maximize your army. In a way that the melee is not. And I can't get over the lack of phalanx here. This is ridiculous. So many spearmen are just wasting time not fighting. Wish I had like an idle military for like percentage of army that's attacking, because it would be drastically in favor of Johann here. However, you are still diving the absolute back of your opponent's base. And you see the conundrum we were talking about here. He's getting rid of a lot of infrastructure. The Rams are getting mopped up now. Archers have been cleared. And Johann doesn't have many heavily armored units to go in again. Yeah, only 4 knights, so he has to slow down and go for ram play. After all that, yeah, he did get some villager kills, but we're still talking about a 30 villager lead for Gully. And mass farms! Oh no! Johann doesn't even know. This is ridiculous. If there weren't farms coming, this is Gully dead, right? Like, he has nothing without farms. But that is ludicrous what we're seeing in the back. He's going to be up to about 30 farms total. That's going to allow a reblob. He also has plenty of wood gathering. Golden Age 2. Meaning we've got plenty of income here. So the Archer blob is building. And this worries me. Johann now going into spears is a bad thing. He needs knights. Starting to believe a game 3 is on the table here, folks. Johann hasn't met his win condition. Killing the TC is not enough at this stage. It took him so long, you need to kill economy as well. If he'd known about the south side, if he'd done something about it, different game, right? Because at that stage, Gully's not mobile enough to play wide. Like, in this type of game, what you want to do as Johann is break the wall, have 3 or 4 knights just go around that back area, raiding constantly. Don't need to kill anything, you just need to idle things. And then eventually your ram timing hits, right? Like, the thing that people need to keep in mind is, like, when you see someone go free TC, you don't have to go free TC yourself, right? The counter is, what does he need and what can I stop? Because if you're a free TC, that means you're eating through safe resources quicker than I am. Which means you're going to expose villages quicker than I will. Especially with pro scouts. Johann, instead, he took a different line, right? And he realized the mistake now. He tried to cut production, cut stone. Phalanx finally coming in from Gully. Johann, pretty decent dive here. Is at least getting through the infrastructure, but it's no armored units, right? The knights need to be here tanking for this. Instead, they're diving deeper, but they're diving into spears. There's at least a breakthrough in the tree line that you can dive to, but Johann's in desperation mode, right? Like, after that last dive didn't kill his opponent, this one was kind of whimsical. I almost feel like he was expecting Gully to tech or something. I think pressure is fine, but semi-fast castle. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, I think he can poke at you without hard committing. Like, for example, when he was doing this dive, if he had been blobbing resources for attack instead of blobbing an army for another go, he'd have castellate already, he'd have relics. You still have an economy lead, but, like, he would have slowed you down a lot, right? I mean, you're saying Johann will run out of food. I think he's close to running out of food. Got maybe, like, what, 4 or 5 deer left? Already out on the boar as well to extend himself, but brings his own risks, right? Meanwhile, Gully, when's he running out of food? Let me just check my calendar. First of never? Ah, yes. The fabled free ram assault on the primary TC. Now, normally when you do this, you're about double the military strength. Not equal. I don't see this working. Johann, the only upside for him is I think that the knights are being targeted by the TC instead of the archers. But it still just doesn't matter. There's not enough here. Ram's going to get cleared. And we have reached the point of unforgiveness, right? Johann has tried this way too many times now. Crazy part is his first attack didn't make sense. His second did, and then his third didn't. Right? Like, this third attack just felt like desperation. And now we have the nightmare situation. Gully has been able to get archers going at a point where you can now go castle. Which means composite bows. Which means your recovery arc of horse archers doesn't exist. And you don't want to play archers and composite bows, that's loss. This is over. Gully has options. He can either just blob and go, or he can attack. And Johann, I mean, you'd think with the amount of food he's been holding in reserve, he'd have options, but never seen that gold tick up. Instead, he queues up 6 more knights. You thought Johann was saving to age up? Nah, he's just saving for game 3. Probably wishes there was a save and reload feature at this point. Whew. So yeah, lesson to take away from this is, like, as Roos, Pro Scouts, fast castles, absolutely fine. Pro Scout, slight pressure, castle, fine. This feudal all-in, though, if the first strike doesn't completely bludgeon the enemy economy, your chances of success spiral downward from there. And I think like Johan's biggest lesson in this one, you know, he mentioned already in chat that he should have went for tree line to attack. He should have also just been scouting south side. Like at this point in the game, when you see your opponent like this, your thought has to be, he clearly has farms somewhere, right? I think Pro Scouts and Slight FC is best. I think what you do is you Pro Scouts, you open 1 to 2 knights to force you to build things, and then you fast castle. Because by him having 1 or 2 knights, it's kind of like how English get away with 2 TC. Because the king forces their opponent to do something subpar, right? So like Johan here, just 2 absolute maximum 4 knights, forces Gully to build upwards of 8 spears, probably a few horsemen, which won't be able to dive the enemy economy, and won't be able to get out quick enough to stop Pro Scouts. And then you have mass horse archers. First strike was excellent though. Not really. His target point made no sense. Like this TC was worthless. He just saw TC and saw red, right? But like even if you go to the tree line here, there's a secondary tree line back here. It's like Johan's attack angle for attack 1 has to be here. He needs to make sure he can see into both tree lines. Mass horse archers lose to camel archers though, even age ahead behind. Yeah, but Neri, like, I'm sorry. When I go up at like 10 minutes, how are you having mass camel archers? What? That's like saying mass cataphracts beats mass French knights. Yeah, but which one of us is going to have more, right? Like, I agree, camel archers are going to beat horse archers, but you're not going to have them. Horse archers flood, camel archers don't. Flash coming in. Needs the win here. The tech up for Gully. He hasn't seen the veterancies coming through yet, but they're 15 seconds out in the boot camp. That front line is not dying quick enough. Just 1 or 2 camels in there. The camel rider is buying enough time here. The knight count, far too low. Johan, far too dead. Boot camp about to complete. Veterancy only 20 seconds away, and there's just no shots left to fire. Game number 2 for the Swede. I could go in, but this is quicker. Oh yeah, okay, Mr. Corky. Yeah, you're only 50 villages ahead. Gillem's getting queued up as well, just to guarantee that Johan can't get in. I mean, it should be pretty apparent to him. I wonder when Johan hits GG and sees the whole map, how shocked he was going to be by this. This is ridiculous. He has 61 farms. Please tell me you got agriculture. Yeah, he's got it queued up. He knows. Oh, that means a decider is coming in, folks, on Borderland. The question mark is it going to be Ayyubid or Delhi for Gully? And is it going to be the French or the English for Johan? Well, this is absolutely dog crap matchup for the English. But apparently, according to Gully, Johan has an interesting build. Let's find out who's going to be heading through. Reminder, by the way, the winner of this is going up against Dimu in midweek muster number 9. So, by interesting build, I think what we're probably going to be seeing out of Johan, the only way I can see Delhi not liking this matchup is if Johan does 1 TC Abbey of Kings Horseman. I think that's the way English can be quite threatening here. Because the issue is if you go for the 2 TC meta, like Delhi just get too much off the map. Pro Scouts plus Sacred Sites, Ghazi are able to swarm. It's not a good time. Like actually, I'm trying to think if there's a Civ that hates Ghazi more than English, and I'm coming up dry. Because if you go for 2 TC, right, you're basically going to be defending yourself with short bows and TCs. Right? These Ghazi are glorified horsemen. They're better horsemen. And the problem that you'll find is actually there is not a single Civ in the game that deals with horsemen worse with their villagers than English. Because they attack ranged. Right? Like Shiv's out is pretty strong against a handful of horsemen with the 6 damage. But when English do it, they already lose half their damage. While having lower damage than Shivs. So yeah, hopefully Johan is going to have an interesting 1 TC build on his mind here. Sheep Hall is going to be 12 to 10. Not bad for Johan considering that Gully hasn't been eating the sheep with more than 2 villages. Meanwhile, of course, Johan has got 8 on them. So overall, actually a good scout rotation. And even better now, because check this. Gully is now mirroring behind Johan without realizing. So if Johan realizes what's happened here, he should be able to gather sheep around the back of his opponent's base, because if you actually were to load up a bunch of Borderland replays and look at them, I'd say about 95% of the time, you will never see someone begin by scouting the back of their base. It's always the last thing they do. So Johann should realize this and just wrap around the back and snatch those away. Is there space in the middle for a high trade house? No. What's wrong with you? There's room for a hunting cabin, though. Whoa! In this game that does not feature Rus. You could get a high trade house up here, though. I think you could almost perfectly slot that in. Yeah, by the way, like, what it is European temperate. I was curious on that one because I haven't done a forward test, but I imagine there are certain biomes that offer up these half wood lines more that would make things like Rus better. Do Ghazi Raiders get bonus damage against English villagers due to range attack? No. Good question, but no. So the way you can tell if a unit's going to take bonus damage is the tags. This is what matters. So, for example, if you looked like a Desert Raider, they are a melee and a ranged cavalry, right? But English villagers are worker class. By the way, if these guys did catalog as ranged, you know what the hardest counter in the game would be, right? If these workers actually had the range tag, the hardest counter in the game to them would actually be Byzantines. Because you could get Expilatores and just massacre. Guys, I think we might be getting the good stuff. Johann, Abbey of Kings coming in. All right, one's if you think that Johann's going to do a 2 TC build. Two's if you think we're getting mass horsemen 1 TC. It's not just a default win if English do mass horsemen 1 TC. You do have to micro it right. You have to play it right. So it does turn into a skill-based matchup. But I think Johann is realizing it's the correct way to play this. Man, in the end, they're neck and neck on sheep. This is impressive. At 4 minutes in, when like usually you would have exhausted, what, probably 5 sheep? The other tricky part is like usually for the English, you can't stay out with your scout as long as the Delhi can. Too much DN not to pro... Wait, are you going to... Alright, ride it up. It's a Delhi win. Oh, no. I can't believe this. You know that Pro Scouts... This is the perfect series. I've decided the title of this video is definitely going to end up being Pro Scouts makes early game pointless. When the English do Pro Scouts, it says everything it needs to about that tech. This is meant to be like the worst sim in the game to do it with. Oh, and here's going to have a window, folks, because Delhi don't rush Pro Scouts. They can't. Right? Like, it doesn't come through quick enough, even when you just generate scholars. So Johann's going to probably be able to be about, like, 7 or 8 tier overall ahead of his opponent if they both go towards it in the end. On the opening, he has this king that needs to be answered, so double Ghazi's on the way. But that's just going to keep Gully more defensive. It means that he might not even see the Pro Scouts play. Especially if the king starts chasing tail here. Like, actually, he's going to get the auto chase. This is great, because if you pressure him here, then Gully has to leave. He won't even know it's happening. Like, if I'm Johann, this scout just needs to come and attack here. Right? Like, this could just be your starting scout. There's no reason for Gully to think that this is Pro Scouts right now. In fact, as long as Johann doesn't... Yeah, just don't reveal the second scout. Just, no. You had a golden opportunity. All right, so he's revealed the play. I think that's a bit of a mistake from Johann. If you can kill the scout, it's worth it, though. Gully, with the micro of a goldfish, somehow gets away with murder. 1 HP. The Ghazi are now here. So the king can't fight. Horseman should be on the way. Instead, Johann has gone Rax. Interesting. I thought he'd play Horseman and just try to, like, you know, poke and pull away. I guess he just doesn't want to risk that. It gives a window to Ghazi. So Johann just taking the defensive line. Is KP guys mean? You know what isn't mean? Your micro. I'm sorry. Gully's like, actually, I got an A+ in my math. I knew my scout would survive that fight. So this turns into a 1-1-1 build, right? I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like, he's going to space right now, which is fine. The awkward part about 1-1-1 for Delhi is it actually feels bad into a defensive English player because you don't have Tower Victory, and they do, right? They have the ring, the network of castles. Just in the micro from you on Sunday with cold hands. Okay. And are we blaming the fact you lost the series in the end on cold feet? Hey! I didn't even mean to make that the pun wordplay it was. Who were you up against on Sunday? It was... God, you went out pretty early. Wait, where did you go out? Oh, Starflock. Ah. There's no shame in that. I think Starflock on the rise, man. Stock's rising. So a bit of a calming moment here. We do have the spear count blobbing up. Gully is building a few too many Ghazi. He's trying to resist the temptation to switch into archers, but at this rate he's going to be forced. That's a great pinch, though. I don't know what those spears were doing partying out towards the south side. KJ will be able to at least protect the outpost. No villagers lost so far. Gully does have a predicament, though. Is now the horsemen are coming in, like what you're going to run into is this really big problem when the sheep exhaust for you, right? It's like your opponent will just be able to poke the flanks. Played 5 hours of chess before that and got home 5 minutes before the tournament. Yeah, but if you play 5 hours of chess, your brain should be ready to be like 50 moves ahead of Johan, right? Do you feel like you're 50 moves ahead of Johan right now? Or do you feel like you turned up for a chess game and Johan flipped the board and revealed that you're playing Snakes and Ladders? I think you just realized you're in Snakes and Ladders. This is pretty bad. Gully does at least have Sacred Sites, but that's going to be a very temporary benefit. The Spearman count's way too high for him to contest out there. Has at least pulled the Scholars, so that's at least nice. But, I mean, Johan, with the better gathering rate, the rate which is going to blob here is just going to be absurd. Spear engagement begins. Johan would benefit from a forward outpost. Needs to be careful about where he engages here. How does Gully win this? Well, we have the archers coming now. The problem is, like, Johan at the perfect time is now blobbing horses, right? I think Gully's win condition is actually in Castle Age, which, I mean, you can get pretty quickly, right, from this point, and pretty efficiently with the Scholar production rate. Like, you'd be up at about 10 by the time you tech. Something tells me he's going to try to play a long feudal here, though. Probably paranoid that if he fast castles, he gets dove on the other side. I can see where he's come from, but you've already got racks, right? Just get a few men-at-arms out, holding the chokes. Instead, Johan's now the one getting men-at-arms out. Nice pincher there. Grabs a few of the Ghazi. Yeah, this feels really bad for Gully as well, because he knows if those horsemen get away, they're going to heal. This is the problem, right? Spears just pinch Ghazi so quickly. So yeah, there's Scholars that can heal, but they're slow to heal, and it's also just so easy to lose these fragile units. Meanwhile, for Johan, even if he doesn't run all the way back to home, he's got heal on the go. This is Uber heals. Get it wherever you need it. I'm telling you guys, we're reaching a point in history where even the Americans have to admit the NHS build is OP. In fact, they already did. Jiggly's always doing the Byzantine gulpers. Free healing is the way. My country got it right. I mean, this is rough, right? Like, this is the type of build I've been waiting to see come out more. It does occasionally appear, but it's not done enough. Just seeing how powerful it can be. King is at least going to get pinched here. Johan just frontlining with him right now. The Ghazi can't kill him quick enough. Oh no. Archers started to arrive, but they're trickling in a little bit too slow. The spearmen get peeled away. It means the spears can now just actually gap close upon the Scholars. King is looking like it's going to go down. A bit of a miss micro there by Johan. We'll have to back away. Good fight for Gully. The archer's now revealed. Johan maybe jumping the gun, coming out a bit too soon. That started off well, but his reluctance to pull away led to a gradually worse and worse fight. Men-at-arms count is at least going up, but he now needs to replace that king. For the time being, he can just kind of deal without it because he's going to be close to the home point, right? But next time he wants to come out, he's going to need that heal. Another problem is actually Johann just not having melee tech. Notice you guys have been talking about that. The good news is Gully actually decided to go undermesh when it was absolutely not needed. Kind of got baited by being against English, right? But definitely a bigger deal that Johann hasn't got it yet. Has gone for the undermesh instead. Especially now that you're adding in men-at-arms, that's where the melee damage is definitely worth it. But even on the spears, because they're such a low damage unit, like you're getting a 15% damage increase by going for melee tech 1, right? It's pretty nuts. And when you consider the cost of like a melee tech, it's basically what a Japanese player would pay for a katana bannerman effect, but you get it everywhere, right?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Gully? Darling, where are the Ghazi? Oh no. Oh no! I mean, who expects this many men-at-arms? This is like 4 farm clusters worth of production rate. Johann, with the Pro Scouts build, has blobbed out of nowhere 20 MAA. It's a gang bush. Gully needs to run away. He was stockpiling for a tech play. A tech play that could actually kill him now. I mean, Johann, he'll get a dive opportunity. If that fails, he'll have a fallback plan where fast castle afterwards would get him mass men-at-arms upgraded. This is reminiscent of the old school HRE build against Delhi, where you blob 30 to 40 men-at-arms and then go age 3. It's wild. Ghazi are starting to be added in a little bit again, but out of time on the front side. Gully, also keep in mind at home, does not have much in the way of food. No, this is it. Where he's building the tech up here. The deer, the berries, collectively there's only about 500 food left on that screen. So you have to ask the question, where and what are we eating? And arms continue the pummeling. Still no melee attack coming through from Johann. But these are still good trades regardless of that detail. The hilarity is Gully, if this was Tower Victory, completely different fight. Skull's now being pulled. Now, one thing for Johann is you don't want to be diving the TC at this point. It's a quick way of losing momentum, I say, as he dives the TC at this point. What? Take complete. Johann, I think that was so unnecessary. Losing about 12 extra men-at-arms than needed there. He could have backed away, been teching up, and been fine. Instead, now he's going to get chased down pretty easily. I think, like, what, maybe he killed 7 or 8 archers in the end, maximum. So he didn't really reduce the damage he took on the retreat. We do, however, now have King's Pass coming. Yeah, because remember, Gully got pushed all the way back. Like, he hasn't got this counterplay where he's going to dive a white tower, right? Oh, you have some deer? Okay, so you got some deer. That is a good idea. Well done. How's he here? Because he's cheated! Oh my god, we're banning him for the rest of the... No, I'm kidding. Remember, guys, not every single series we cast here is going to be live. Some of them are in catch-up mode. More catch-up than you'll find on your burger. Because that's the beauty of Midweek Muster. It lets people, you know, schedule freely. It's more welcoming in that regard. The cool thing, though, like we highlighted, is with this series, we found it really entertaining having Johann and Gully in chat, just kind of giving their retrospective thoughts, but also their in-the-moment assessment of why they've done things. Textiles in from Gully. It's going to make it harder to punish these flank gathering points, but overall... Oh. Hey, honey. Is it death time? I believe... no. Johann, no. Johann, no! The wolf actually won it! You've got to be kidding me. The wolf saved him there. Because they had to run around the wolf, those 2 extra men-at-arms didn't hit. I can't believe that. That is absolutely ridiculous. So Johann doing a little bit of a foreign exchange student operation here. 6 men-at-arms now recruited to the Delhi side. And, you know, the craziest part is, luckily for Johann, he hadn't got the veterancy in yet. Look at that. They're actually early men-at-arms. That could have been a lot worse. Oh my god. Elephant's now being prepped by Gully. actually made the right choice here, because Johan is going into crossbows, so war elephants would be stupid, right? Like, you just lose. You haven't got a reason to really build war elephants right now. Even against the men-at-arms, like the armor padding just makes them a little bit too chunky. It's a great read to open with tower elephant here. It looks like the men-at-arms are going to be able to get through before the wall goes up. Good choice being made there as well. Johan just dealing with the backstab before he deals with the main army. This is wild. Seem to be 3 relics for Gully. Game not looking as bleak for him as it did about 3 minutes ago. Like, we came home, guys! Wait, why are you killing us? This is why it's important you wear the correct camouflage. I'm going to rotate around the back. Johan quick with his fingers to back away, though. Gully, this is way too early. You can't dive the aura this quickly. He needs to slow down. Like, remember, he doesn't actually have a military lead. Scholars making up 14 of this. So Johan needs farm clusters into horsemen now. With tower elephants coming, mass crossbows, like, his answer is in horses. So what you'll probably see out of Johan is lob the crossbows first. Maybe add a few men-at-arms if you start to thin your lines a bit too much, while you don't have the extra few. But the moment you're up to 4 to 5 farm clusters, horseman is your win condition. Weird that Gully Decker was forcing this. This is like just a really bad fight to be engaging in against the men-at-arms. You could argue he's at least keeping his opponent pinned while he picks relics, but that's always going to happen. I think you wait for Johan to be more out on the map before you take this type of engagement. There's just too much risk associated. The attack speed aura, the fact that he has production on his side, it's not worth it. Yeah, now you're going to lose the core of your army. So the elephants are here, sure, but you don't have that assisting backline anymore. Archers getting mopped up is actually a big deal because now with only crossbows left, any backline being targeted is worth it. Now, getting that space he needs, we have more of these farms being dropped. What game are you playing in right now? Johan, up against Delhi with no map control, has believed that there are still relics out there. I like when you get dumped all the time. Like, you've been on 50 dates, and all 50 of them, like, they have rejected you, right? Like, this is the equivalent of having that experience, and then someone be like, you've just got to believe there's still one out there waiting for you. One person. And there is. That's true. There's literally one relic. Only one. Johan now going to be seeking his soulmate with that monk. Luckily for him, the speedy scholar is the only one going. Guys, could you imagine if he actually lost this relic to one scholar? Could you just imagine? Nah, there's no way. There's a knight here. If it was the king, maybe he could be really annoying and run this away, but with a knight as well, it should be an easy take. Dude, these guys are so fast. They won't see me. They won't see me. They won't see me. The terrain is green and I am green. The terrain is green and I am green. The terrain is green and I am green. Alright, so Johan will get his little shiny. No second wall lull coming in. So you've got K-Pig camos. Use them in chat. That was the perfect moment. Sometimes I feel like you guys forget to use your emotes. Raid now coming in. I mean, Gully, he's slowly been hemorrhaging off of these little chip raids. It's about to happen again. Shuffles away with the villager line on the trees, but doesn't with the gold. So 2 more villagers going down. Idle time achieved. And his army is attacking into mass spears with attack speed buff. Uh-oh. Oh, it's not horsemen, so you can kite with the elephants. The problem is you don't have enough elephants yet. This is more like when you have 6 elephants, spears look really bad because you can just run away from them. But with 2, like, you know, there's too much army that won't be able to leave. Clash comes in. Elephant trying to headbutt his way through the front line. He's going to find it a lot harder now. Now, he has at least stripped away most of the spearmen, but not all of them here. And you're just seeing that health pool melt. Gully Thought he had a timing here, but he may have been mistaken. On top of that, the Knights are still raiding in the back of the base. More villages going down. That dive achieving absolutely nothing other than giving Johann control of the game. So I guess it done something big. I mean, he did what, kill, I think, 5 villagers in the gold? But it's 2 TC, right? Like, this would be very different if Gully was 2 TC or Keep, which would be a TC as well, right? But he's kind of raw locked. And we're reaching that point we talked about before, where Johann is going to be flooding. Meanwhile, Gully, Pro Scouts has elongated the game quite a bit for him, but we now have farms getting added in that are just going to be inferior to the English. You thought they would tank better? I mean, they do if you're able to run away, but like you kind of can't run away like that. So good luck, have fun. And yeah, Johann never really. Okay, we shamed him into it. All we had to do was shame it and immediately got sorted in the game. Some sort of time travel tech right there. Unfortunately for Gully, he needed about another 2 minutes for that tech to be delayed. Then he could have got a keep drop. Instead, that keep is not going to be coming in quick enough to be kept. Start a step away here. The men-at-arms line just absorbing too many shots while the back line cleans up. Village is now front lining, basically. We do have a tower elephant coming. Johann, he's going to show respect. But soon, the blob shall begin. Yeah, we can confirm both players were definitely stream sniping here. Like, clearly, they have time travel technology, and they have gone back in time after watching this, and they've been switching their builds. Which is why it's still so competitive. They just keep switching on each other. It's genius, really. Siege Workshop now. Why? Like, wait, what? You don't need mangoes here. I mean, I think Johann's paranoid about Pakes. Remember, the Delhi have a tech that gives them more range. So, like, you can get outgunned by crossbows, right? You can get kited. I think that's what he's worried about here. And the keep drop? Where's it coming? What do you mean, keep it top? Oh. Huh. Keep drop at bottom's more concerning, though. Hold on. He found him before he get it online. Johann cannot allow this castle up. It's way too much gold. The purview of the Delhi. Tower Elephant is at least absorbing a lot of range shots. The perfect situation for him. The military numbers are skewed. Remember, 20 of this is Scholar still. The villagers being sacrificed here, being targeted down. Not many left. I like this from Johann, right? Killing just enough villagers to guarantee that it wouldn't be a fast castle. Afterwards, we have got an outpost trying to be rushed up. Not ideal here from Johann, but once he has that, the attack speed could be a winner. Problem is, you need an army to win with. Will be shoved back. Longbows now being queued up by Johann to deal with this, finally realizing it's the only way out. He lost the crossbow race. The cool thing about being English is even when you lose the race, Pegs might give a little bit more range, but nothing compared to the LBs. Crazy. I can't believe that. So double castle from Gully actually is really good, as long as Johann runs out of gold. The problem is, because you're now only building crossbows, Johann can get away with not needing crossbows himself. He can just go longbows. So, like, if he has to reduce himself to longbow spears, it's actually not that bad. What Gully needs to do is add in something that friends, such as men-at-arms, which he can afford. If he adds in men-at-arms, Johann's in trouble. That was sick, though. Double keep sneak. Village Fortress is also coming in, so Gully is about to start shrinking that villager lead that Johann has built up. Trebs are being queued, so Johann, using what little gold he has left to address the castles. Yes, Johann's like, this is why I'm building the Siege Workshop. I'm glad. A mango would have been the worst thing to build here. So Trebs, at least stockpiling. We'll have the attack speed buffer if he just builds an outpost in range, so we'll be able to just ramp killing this very fast. Wait, is the king still raiding you? And he brought a friend. Oh, I love that. When you invite one guy over and he just brings another guy, you're like, dude, I don't have that much food. He might not have much food if he keeps losing to villagers like this. Oh no, you're stabbing us in the face. Be a shame if we had on-the-go NHS healthcare worldwide. Well, I guess, you know, map-wide in this situation. There we go, network of castles coming in. Ridiculous how quickly it's going to be a melt through this. Only 9.5 seconds for each attack. Gully, I mean, he just doesn't have an army to dive. Not with the Lombos now here. He needs that front line we talked about. This is just so annoying for him. Looks like Gully was stockpiling for Imperial. I don't really see that as the out I think he does. I mean, it's going to be the gunpowder elephants, right? But the problem is it's going to take so long to get them. And because you force your opponent to scale trebs, you're just going to get erased here, right? Like, your castle's going to die, and then he can approach your base. I'm a bit skeptical about this for Gully. Also, Johan, not really that far away from max pop, means he could just follow him afterwards. Dive comes in, so he's got access, gold secured. A few villagers will be able to escape. The trebuchets now turn their attention to the west side. So, Gully, at this stage, what is your winning comp in your eyes? Because this looks pretty bad. Maybe War Elephants could actually be a way. You've got a lot of crossbows, War Elephants to support. It's just tricky, though. Because if your opponent holds the crossbows in reserve, then you're in trouble. And he also has spear production coming. Trev's now knocking at the door. Oh, no, and you built the farms forward. Wait, this is pretty bad, actually. That's a quarter of his farms. Bear's coming in, trying to keep the castle alive a little bit longer. The moment the tech up completes, Johan's going to send it. Look at his resources as well. He can not only send it, he can mirror the Imperial now. Castle soon to drop, which means the Gully will not be shrinking that villager lead. Keep seeing forward farms from competitive players. Is that the new meta? The logic is when you build these castles because you're building villagers, it's efficient to build the farms nearby because your villagers don't have other things to do. Right? It's the same logic as like building farms around a second town center. It's optimal. Dive coming in. Villagers once again just idled out on that backside. Worst case scenario for a guy who just went Imperial. Needs more troops. Needs better techs. And I mean, this doesn't exactly feel fast. The archers would take a long time. Minute and a half with crossbows. I mean, the good news is, of course, it is for free. But there's that bark shield. So no wing guard. It's kind of funny how people pivoted away from it. Would have actually been a really good game for the wing guard footmen, actually. Because footmen do get more armor against range units, and they also do more damage against cavalry. Still have the issue of gap closing against elephants anyway, though. So probably just felt it was safer, as most people do on Borderland, to bark shear to secure the golds and secure the chicken stack. What a wild game for you, though, man. Glad we actually did cast this one. Usually, you know, Mondays we're like, oh man, we can't get back from round of 32. But, you know, these players being lazy, not scheduling their round of 16 gave us plenty of time. So gold now blocked out. Gully cannot play Imperial without gold. Even as Delhi, you get the techs for free. Like the units you want to build, right? Elephants, crossbowmen, these are all gold oriented. So he only has a sliver with the relics, right? Actually, that's not true. He's got plenty. Okay, yeah, no, there is a way. But that way does require Johan to sit on his hands for like 5 minutes doing nothing. Free mango tech is big. Oh boy, I'm looking forward to that mango tech. Because this game is definitely still going to be going 5 minutes from now, right? Right? I'm LA noiring this and putting doubt. Dive towards the bark shield, not ideal for Gully. King did at least get knocked down. That's been the bane of Gully's existence time and time again. The big boy men-at-arms just flooding at the stage. I mean, all that's really missing for Johan is his snare arrows and elite army tactics, which I imagine are going to be coming in soon. Yeah, University on cue. Ready to queue up those techs. Techs that Gully just can't really mirror the timing on. He's up to 31 scholars now. Has gotten snares coming, but that's going to be 3.5 minutes away. Johan has a big window here. Just needs to make sure he dives for it head first. Don't be one of those people that tries to slow climb through the window and then, like, you know, trips and falls. Then arms to the back, Gully. Maybe posturing on the front a bit too hard here. Kind of has to. Has got the bigger army. I mean, there's potential here. The thing that Johan needs to be conscious of is for production. He doesn't have any. So the army gets wiped. He's going to be in trouble. Nah, I'm kidding. He's good. I mean, come on, guys. Aura, Lamau. And yeah, he has got some scholars. I think he's pulled them back now. So, Incendiary arrows, 2.5 minutes now. No, wait, are you still... They're all in production buildings, aren't they? Yeah. And what are you guys doing? You can come out now. They're gone. They can't hurt you anymore. It's okay. Come on. Come on. No, seriously, come on. Gully needs food. Okay, clearly they are deaf dogs. They can't hear us whistling. I mean, they've been being put down like dogs constantly, so I don't blame them. Gully, I didn't say it. You said it. I mean, I may have originally said it, but like, you said it. And this really is just where English get dirty. We haven't got the Ecotech free yet, so precision crossbreeding not in just at this moment. Johan, even without that, has already stockpiling almost 4,000 food. Ah, you guys remembered you can work farms. That's good. Because Gully's going to need it. We have a lot of crossbows, which, wait. I mean, I like this idea from Gully, but I've got a bad feeling that Johan might be thinking the same thing now. And there's really no denying that Johan can build a lot more mangoes than Gully can. But guys, don't worry. Gully has 9 gunpowder elephants. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3. Oops. That UI's tricking us again. Yeah, remember guys, for some reason, when they fix the pop cap being what shows on the UI, they never actually fix the elite tower elephants from the Sultans. Yeah, he only has 3 of those gunny boys. I tell you what, actually, if Gully had 9 gunny elephants, I'd feel pretty good about his chances here. But 3 is pretty underwhelming. He also needs to lose some units, because right now he's pop blocking himself. Like, look, there is an elephant waiting to be birthed here, Gully. This is like the Jim Carrey scene all over again. Just trying to get out of the back of the rhino, you know? Oh, wait, he's too young to know Ace Ventura references. He's getting sniped by the drums. Oh my god, he's like, just dive me. Why would you dive me? Dive me or leave. Oh, the longer he waits, the worse it gets, though. Bowstrings on the way. EAT in 25 seconds. Shattering projectiles getting added in 45. We won't get to see it this game, because I think this is going to be the conclusive fight. Trebuchets. Get the snipe of the mango. Adjustable crossbars might be there, but he only has 1 of them. And this dive is just so difficult, right? Network of citadels is there. That 30% actually buff. We got the UI. Elephants front lining. Maybe they can get deep enough here. I mean, they are standing their ground well. The ranged armor is high on these things. Johan will not be able to get that Sacred Site win condition. Timer is going to get denied, but it has been expensive for Gully to do so. It's not enough to decap this. He needs to keep on pushing. And with 14 armor on these elephants, he should be able to. Oh my god, Johan doesn't even hang around. Okay, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to address the elephant in the room. 14 ranged armor! Are you kidding me? So Gully will get a date with Dimmu in the round of 16. Yeah, I think that was partial tilt in the end out of Johan. It didn't look great, but if he just calms down, starts pumping spears behind that, with his income, he should be able to clear the elephants and party hard in that late game. But I don't know. I think that was slightly premature on the GG. It looks awkward, but the elephant count is low, right? But damn. GG's to Mr. Gully. He makes it through to the round of 16. The question mark now is whether the kiddo is going to be able to teach the old man a lesson, or if Dimmu is going to reign supreme. Stay tuned, because I'm looking forward to covering that one.